sixth son of mankind, with Brian Quinn, Walter Flanagan, and Brian Johnson. This week's episode.
Hello and welcome to Tell 'em Steve Dave Presents Overkill with Walt.
Hello.
You're here.
I'm here.
Brian Quinn, I do not see him here.
Oh.
Yeah, can you do a Quinn impression?
I don't think so.
Quinn is not here. Quinn is off gallivanting around the country.
Hey.
Appearing on other podcasts, Walt. I'm not sure how we feel about this.
Whose podcast is he appearing on this week?
Could be a friend of ours who lives in L.A. Close friend of ours who, another A-lister, I guess.
Oh, you mean he's gone to Pod on Smod?
Might be the same network, but...
Didn't you just go do some Smods with Kev?
Well, I went up to New York, and I didn't skip Tell 'em Steve Dave to do it either. But we here at Tell 'em Steve Dave, we would rather light a candle than curse the darkness, right, Get 'em?
Yes.
So you stepped in.
You're a candle.
Yeah.
Or I'm the curse.
Candle in the wind. Yeah, you might be the darkness. You're definitely the darkness to some people.
Yeah, light to others, darkness to them.
Yeah, angel to some, demon to others. Yeah. Now, Get 'em, do you have any good stories that because you're only as good as your last story. Last we checked in, your mom was trying to smother you. It won you a lot of fucking sympathy points. Has anything bad happened to you recently that will sort of like refill that tank?
Not that I could think of.
I think it was a good thing. Show him your cyst.
Yeah.
It's gone down.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
It looks like...
I think it's probably due to your girlfriend's been... You haven't seen her in quite some time, right?
Yeah, but I've also been, when like no one else is in the store, I gave some money to the skull and I pulled it out and kind of let it kiss the cyst.
Pull the skull out?
Yeah.
He was trying to diddle the skull.
I miss Joe.
Hi, Joe. Would you ever miss her so much that at home you may dress up like a mannequin? Well, you have mannequins in your home.
Yeah, but they're here.
Multiple mannequins.
Yeah.
I have one.
So you have one mannequin at home.
Yes.
Would you ever dress it up like a girl? Just like maybe not to like in a sexual way, just to talk to, since you have no one to talk to normally.
No, I do have a cat, so I can talk to my cats.
Oh, my bad. All right. Well, we're going to do Overkill, which is the paranormal exploration of
The weird, the strange, the bizarre.
Yeah, the missing or murdered kids, which I don't have that this week. Have you, what you've been watching on TV? Get 'em anything? Do you have a TV?
Yes, I have a TV.
Does it work, or is it like in your tub, with like leaves all over it and shit?
It works, but it was it was actually made the same month I graduated high school.
When was that?
June 1996.
96. 21 years.
It's a 50-inch CRT TV.
It works?
Yeah.
Does it work, or does it work? Like,
it works.
Like you can watch it? It's
Yeah.
not like everyone's not all red?
No.
Or anything?
There's sometimes a little red around people, but other than that, it's not HD, it's SD. But.
So, like, when you plug it in, like, you can't, like, plug current, like, new equipment to it, right? Like the current, like, weird equipment, like...
It doesn't have an HDMI.
Yeah, right?
No, it does not have an HDMI, but it does have an S-video port, and it's got RCA jacks and a coax. Which is
coaxial cable. They still sell that?
Well, yeah.
I remember when S-Video was the shit. Like, it's like, whoa, I can see the difference, or at least I'm going to tell my friends that.
Yeah, I don't have the most basic FiOS box. It doesn't have a DVR. It's SD.
You can't even rewind. Like when we're watching something together, like over the phone, over texting, and I'm like, rewind that. Did you hear what he said? And I'm like, oh, and I forget. Oh yeah, you can't fucking rewind your.
Or
keyboard.
which is hilarious. FiOS does not carry Comic Book Man in SD. They only carry it in HD. So I can't even watch it on demand.
What's going on?
I'm just hearing like a weird clicking. I don't know what it is though. Might be Giddim's fucking special Wi-Fi card he has fucking it's tucked in his pocket.
Camera's locked away.
So you can only watch Comic Book Men in HD. Well, there's really no other way
I can't.
to watch it.
But I can't because the TV is SD. It won't let me even play it, which is it's.
Oh, really?
So you can't even watch it at all?
No.
But you were watching it up until recently. You were watching.
Yeah, because I was downloading it and watching it.
Oh, you're illegally?
Well, and I figure in the background of the show, so I should be able to.
Download. You know, Charlie's a listener of Tell 'em Steve Dave, right? So you don't have any shows that you normally watch except for fucking Kolchak with Walt?
Well, no, we just got back a channel that I like, Heroes and Icons. So it's like 4 hours of Star Trek every night.
Ugh.
He doesn't like. I don't know if he watches current shows. If you're trying to talk current shows,
I'm trying to talk Fargo with this fucking fool. He's like,
I don't think
if the TV's from '96, the shows are from '96.
Yeah,
I think the last
my TV's even more predates even what he's watching.
Really?
Yeah, I'm only watching stuff from the '70s.
I got to tell you, man, Fargo is so good.
I did watch. It was American Horror Story, the circus one.
That was
How
decent.
old was that?
Yeah. That's only like a year.
Yeah,
that wasn't this last season. The last season was unwatchable, but the season before wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I like that.
So your story is about TV show?
It was going to be, but no, it has nothing to do with TV. I was just wondering, like, what Giddim's up to in his off time.
Yeah,
Not much.
Yeah. Earlier,
Not
we
much.
Not much, bitch.
Earlier we watched I watched anyway, and listened as you guys came up with a very involved system for Giddim ordering lunch during Comic Book Men.
The only way it could be more complicated is if it involved actual like smoke and fire.
Yeah, it was pretty like incredible. What it all comes down to now is when it's okay for Giddim to eat, you will text him an emoji of a taco. It's simplicity
nothing is
at its
simple
best.
with him, though. Nothing is simple. Here's a simple direction. Before the second transaction, when we film, we do 2 transactions in the morning. At the end of the second transaction, we break for lunch. Before that second transaction is over, I want him to have eaten and be completely free to do whatever I need him to do, because that's when the store reopens and a lot of people are outside waiting. So I want, and you would think that I'm like build me a supercomputer in between 11 and 12 while we're doing a transaction. I was ready to run.
I was here for the whole thing. You said that, and I was like, I thought that was the end of the conversation, honestly. But yeah, it went on, and you're right. Giddim has a lot of excuses for shit.
Oh my god,
like
crazy.
Prognosticating. Like, well, I normally don't get hungry that early, and then he's like, the guy at the door might be too simple to like understand the system. You know? He's got a lot of like. Well, there's so many monkey wrenches that could
to be like, can you please eat your lunch between 12 and 1. Mm-hmm. And that is too difficult at times. Even that becomes too problematic.
Right.
That's what I deal with. On a daily basis.
And I hear the
the
customers are dealing with a Giddim who won't even look up from his computer as he. I mean, probably for their betterment, that he's not like, what do I help you?
Well, there are certain. Well, let's be fair. Not all customers. I've noticed, and I thought it was possibly some of his autism showing through, was because I get it if it was. That's why I didn't even bring it up. Was listeners of TSD when they come in recently and they will come up to get him and be friendly, and he's not as excited as I thought he would be to get compliments about, like, I like you on the show. No, it really is a.
He's like, whatevs, man. I'm Giddim.
Yeah, no, he's not looking away from whatever he's doing, and he's not as. I don't know. It's not the reaction I would have expected from like someone telling him that they enjoy him.
Right, as opposed to 90% of the people that are like, I hate you on Reddit.
And I just chalked it up, and I didn't bring it up because I just assumed, because I'm like, well, who am I? Who am I to be able to say something about that?
Right.
And I was trying to be more understanding and not even make it a point of it, because I'm like, hey, if it makes him uncomfortable, it makes him uncomfortable.
It's easier to see things. It's easier to see things from Giddim's perspective now that you have been diagnosed unofficially.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And why do you? What are you looking at? That's so
It's
interesting.
sometimes
that
like
you can't even
sometimes
look
like
up
I
at
said,
someone?
I'm in the middle of an eBay, writing up an eBay.
Are you telling me there is no level of like you're not uncomfortable when somebody comes up and starts talking about it?
Do you like compliments?
Oh, I do like compliments. Yeah,
do?
it's not.
It doesn't look like you do when they come in. You're very
Like he's cocky and shit?
very like a cold stance.
I would say I like them. I just don't take them easily, if that makes sense. Just like around Christmas, I'd rather give presents than to receive them. Yeah.
So do you compliment customers or no? Just randomly. That's what you should do. Like each customer finds something nice to say about them. How fucking weird is that? Like they don't even see him because he's back there in his little fucking cubby hole.
But I know one time you weren't on eBay, and I was back there, and you were doing something nonsense, and you did have a level of disinterest in when they mentioned that they listen to Tom Steve Dave. Not that, and I'm not saying you should be like doing a cartwheel, but it was odd, like an odd like disconnect where you weren't willing to really engage. You didn't want to. I didn't know why, but I assume maybe it was because you're uncomfortable.
We can't have that though, right? Like someone, like an aunt comes in here and they're like, "Hey, get him." It's like you should be.
What? Well,
he should act like he's directing traffic at the horse farm or whatever the fuck. Like you should be up there.
I don't know.
Tap dancing.
I have no
Seeking
problem. I have no
approval.
problem signing stuff or posing for pictures with people.
And I'm not saying he was rude. I'm not saying he was rude or anything.
You're just surprised that
I'm surprised he's not more like.
Well, because he's not wasted. Like if you saw the video of him after what was it, that Gramercy show? Was it or
it was the Gramercy?
Yeah, like when you guys went down to the beach house, like motherfucker was holding court, like people surrounding him.
No, it wasn't after Gramercy. It was the day after.
Get him,
pretty much. Like everything but carrying him around on their shoulders because they don't want to collapse through the floor. But yeah, he was like telling drunk stories and like he was the man.
Yeah.
Was that? Did Joe go to that thing?
Yeah, Joe was there. Yeah, that's actually the one we kind of first
so
met.
You must have really been feeling good, right?
Like she is. She must have seen
She's
a
like,
level.
my man.
Was she your gal at that point?
No, I kind of met her. I was grilling and I was doing a
grilling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone know you're here?
I was grilling and like I just had to keep going inside, so like someone had to watch the grill, so she kind of took on that duty.
But she saw you. She saw you be the
like
center
in the
of attention?
spotlight. Yeah,
I would say so.
Do you
Yeah.
think that had any factor in like
maybe she's
taking you up a notch in perception?
Well, I would think maybe it just shows that I'm a funnier person than
than you are on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it had to take him up a notch. Before that, she's like, "How'd this homeless guy get in here?" No, it's me. It's Gil.
Look at my hat.
Like, had you had that lump growing at all by the end of the weekend, or no?
Wow. Oh, so you?
Well, I got her to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So, like,
when you mean when people
her
come
feelings and about sharing stuff.
You mean you're saying that if someone comes in, you may not be able to be as.
I think you're saying about in this particular situation, he doesn't want to like reveal the dirty deets of.
Oh, the first.
What kind of fucking pussy doesn't tell everything and anything for the good of this show?
I think I've had a history of doing that when it comes to
almost everything. Yeah,
almost everything.
He told us that his mother tried to kill him. I mean, come on.
But he won't be like, I hooked up with Joe over the weekend. Did you remember it?
What?
Is that a gentleman? Oh my God. That's some version.
That's the 2017 gentleman.
I guess
it's not like a 1950s gentleman or a 1940s gentleman. But,
right,
he's not putting his
dirty laundry out?
He's not putting his coat down to cross a puddle. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to diddle her, but I won't talk about it on a microphone. I saw this thing on Mother's Day. You may not have noticed this about me, but little fucking things annoy me.
Okay.
Random things. And there's this guy, you know what catfish is, right?
Catfishing somebody?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You know what catfish is, Walt?
Maybe. What is it?
It's it was a guy this guy Nev. I can't remember his last name.
Oh, you pretend you're
pretend you're somebody else.
You pretend
right.
you're a different sex.
Or you could be the same sex, or
it's always involving sex.
Basically, right? Well, or a relationship, or love, or whatever. And there are some people, like if you watch this show, it's a tough watch. But if you watch a show, there's some people that go literally years without ever seeing this person in real life. With a person being like, well, I don't have a video cam, or what is it, like
webcam, or anything
yeah,
like that.
In order to see what you look like. So they're able to that's what I thought. That's what I thought too. Yeah, I'll talk to you about that later. But yeah, so this guy, I guess he makes a video. This is on Mother's Day. He makes a video, and he and his wife and their new baby. He just has a baby, and he's like, "Hey, I'm proud to be a modern man," all in caps, right? It's time to end gender stereotypes, like in regard to taking care of kids,
right?
Which I thought it ended, honestly. Like,
yeah, I thought that Michael Keaton in that movie put it end to
Mr.
it.
Mom, right?
Yeah.
Boom, done.
I thought that was that was
my role model.
Was sorted back in the 80s.
That's what I thought too. Like Sage, growing up from when she was little, I never was like, oh, this is women's work. Now look, nobody's excited to change a shitty diaper. Nobody wants to do it. But if one person is better at it than the other, fucking whatever. But the fucking arrogance with which he goes on, like, hey, let me drop some knowledge on you guys. It fucking bothered the shit out of me. A whole video. And if anybody knows this guy, I want to know if his wife works. Because he made such a big deal about sharing everything, sharing all these things. It's like, if this guy's running around all over the country finding catfishing victims and shit, how is he
following you? What's going on here? So yeah, what does this have to do? Who is this guy?
He's the host of the show?
He's the host of the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the two hosts.
This is a show that's called Catfish?
It's called Catfish. It's on
MTV.
MTV.
Where did you get that name from?
How did it get that name? I know there was first he did a movie about it, where and then the TV show was based on it.
Maybe that was based on the movie then?
Because to me, it would feel like it would be on like the Outdoor Network. It'd be like about fishing.
Yeah, no. It's not about that. Nev Schulman and Max Joseph. Season 6. Premiered on March 1st, 2017. We're neck and neck with Catfish. Okay, here you go. You want to know why the term catfish is used to describe people who portray someone else online? They used to tank cod from Alaska all the way to China. They'd keep them in vats in the ship. By the time the codfish reached China, the flesh was mushy and tasteless. So this guy came up with the idea that if you put these cods in these big vats, put some catfish in with them, and the catfish will keep the cod agile. And there are people who are catfish in life, and they keep you on your toes. They keep you guessing. They keep you thinking. They keep you fresh. And I thank God for the catfish, because we would be boring and dull if we didn't have somebody nipping at our fin.
What?
Yeah, that's what you need. Somebody constantly trying to trick you.
To fool you?
Yeah.
Someone trying to pull the wool over your eyes and make you look and make you disappoint you.
Thank God for the sociopaths of the world.
But is that more? So would you thank God for that if that person was not online but in your life, physically in your life, pulling like. Being
right. Like a coworker or a spouse.
Yeah, really, the amount of lies that are told on the internet. If you were faced with the same amount of lies,
right.
in your day-to-day life, would that be something to celebrate or to be so happy about? And
just
thankful
picture.
About?
It's like I'm so happy for the catfish, which essentially translates to like never ever let your guard down.
Well,
ever.
He's happy because he's fucking made a career out of it. That's why he's happy.
Just picture going into your doctor's office and it's just some smarmy 12-year-old kid who watched a couple episodes of ER, and he's like, "Dude, I'm a doctor. You got to believe me."
Some of the people on this show, though, you're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like the catfishers have them convinced they're famous. I don't like famous people.
Remember
like
what
was
the football player who got catfished?
Oh yeah.
Did he kill himself or something?
No, I don't think he killed himself. I think
it
affected his performance because supposedly the person had cancer and their mother died.
I think it was a college football player.
College football player, I think, out of Hawaii.
I thought it was out of Miami. I thought it was Miami University in Miami.
Oh, it was a dead girlfriend, right?
Miami Hurricanes.
I think at the bowl he was like, I'm doing this for
Monte Teo's dead girlfriend. The most heartbreaking and inspirational story of the college football season is a hoax. He played for Notre Dame. He played under a terrible burden. A Mormon linebacker. Okay, so Mormon, you already know he's going to be like extra nice and shit, right? His girlfriend supposedly died. Oh, wait. He first learned of the death of his grandmother. I think his grandma catfished him. And then the death of his girlfriend. Alleged, this is the catfish lady. 22 years old, had been in a serious car accident in California, and then had been diagnosed with leukemia. It's like, that's the thing about the catfish people. There's a never-ending string of unfortunate events that happen to them that necessitate, hey, can you send me money, or can you send me a cell phone,
or this is why I can't come visit you. Yeah.
Upon receiving news of the two deaths, he went out and led the Fighting Irish to a 23 upset of Michigan State. So it actually helped him, kept him on his toes. Mm-hmm. She had written a bunch of letters, blah, blah, blah. He did lose his grandmother, but there was never any report of a severe auto accident involving this lady. Background checks turned up nothing. The pictures were from a social media account of a 22-year-old California woman who was not named, Lene Kukua. That's a thing I'll never have to worry about. No one will ever be like, wow, he's good looking enough. I should use his picture. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, I think it's weird that we are such a voyeuristic society, though, that we want to watch other people be duped, and we're like, well, that's our entertainment. I mean, how close is it to Kwigleeuh at this point?
Well, we're going all the way back to
Caligula. What'd you say? Kwigleeuh?
Kwigleeuh. What's it called?
Caligula. You got Caligula. You got Candid Camera. I mean, they're right next to each other.
Right. I mean, we want to see the lions and the tigers rip apart.
Well, that's not really the lions are duping the.
Right, I can't wait. I just can't wait to hear Jay Sarge's kid go Kwigleeuh.
But isn't it the same thing? No, but you're not being torn apart physically, but emotionally you're being torn apart, and we want to watch that.
We like
Trust me,
wrecks.
I've seen it. You don't want to watch it. It sucks.
What?
It's so boring. It's like the biggest lead up to something that
But yet, that's the only reason why people are turning in. They want to see somebody be. They want to see somebody.
Right, they want to see somebody being like, boom,
have the rug pulled out from under them. That's what we've come to. That's what we want as our entertainment, and that we look for. I'm so glad that we're wholesome.
Who, you guys?
No,
watching shit from the 70s?
Well, no, I meant
us.
Yeah, even I'll even take it further. Like me and Gidim, we watch definitely G-rated stuff together. If he wants to turn over to something else, and he's like.
He's like, this G-rated shit's fucking, it's too intense.
I would say the most
what's the most risque thing we watch?
Probably Card Sharks.
yeah. Some of the questions get really raunchy.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's like...
Well, it's because it's 70s shit. So they say stuff.
Questions that are crazy, though.
They wouldn't say today, probably.
Oh, my God, no. We've asked 100 bachelors. You're out with a date, and you try to make a move. And your date says, it tells you...
You smell like natty ice.
Your date says, no. How many bachelors admit it that they will continue to try to make the moves, even though they've been told no? You would never ask that in this fucking situation.
Do you proceed to date rape, or do you just accept?
Now you go to the extremes.
Yeah. Right.
Now, come on, man. Who... Like when I was dating my wife and she wasn't in a good mood, you're telling, and I was I was putting my moves on, I was getting my mojo on, and she's like, no, I'm mad at you. You said something I didn't like earlier tonight. And I'm like, oh, come on.
More likely, your friend Brian said something I didn't like, and you laughed at it.
Yeah, most likely. But and I'm like, oh, come on, forget about that. And I keep going. She's like,
forget about that asshole.
And eventually, and of course,
right.
He works his charms.
I fucking...
This is an extreme case, though, where these moves are hypnotic, and I don't care who's in that car. I don't care what I said.
No, I would not. That's how I see it. I see things through my eyes most of the time.
Right.
And sometimes I'll try to see it. But like in my head, when I heard who was the host of that show?
Wink, not
Wink.
Not Wink Martindale?
No, I don't know who it was. He was also the host of Sale of the Century. But when he says that...
that guy.
But when he asked that question, I am not... I know... I look at it through 2017 eyes. I'm like, well, most people are going to be like, oh, my God, I can't believe you said that, because I did it too. But I think he was saying just what he meant was a much more innocuous...
Innocuous. You're so close. So close.
I don't think they mean Kwigleeuh ways. I think they mean innocuous ways that he just tried a little bit harder.
Right.
He just tried a little bit. He's not going to be like, he's not going to drive
He's
her
not
home.
going to get like a handful of hair and be like, look, bitch.
No, it's not. It's like, he's just going to be like, come on, baby. Don't be like that.
And she's like,
yeah.
I really should go. I want you to stay.
Yeah.
Who's the host? You looked it up?
Yeah. Well, are you talking about the Jim Perry years, the Bob Eubanks years, Bill Rafferty?
I think it's the first guy. Jim Eubanks?
Bob Eubanks.
No.
It was 86 to 89, so it had to be Jim Perry then.
Jim Perry.
That's not a well-known name, is
it? Do you see his picture?
Sure.
It doesn't matter. That's pointless. It means nothing right now.
Right.
Sale of the Century, that's who the host is. That's what you got to type in.
Well, I'll just put on Jim Perry game show host. There he is. This is the guy.
That's him.
That's him.
Jim Perry.
So now so how many of these 100 guys were like, doesn't always
wait a
mean
minute.
no.
I gave you the answer, didn't I? It's in our text back and forth.
Did you get the right answer?
That was so long ago.
Yeah, they don't save our texts?
They do, but we had to scroll through so much.
Well, we'll talk to Brian. I'll look. What would you say? Would you be able to honestly say you never tried to... You took that first rebuff as well, I'm not going to not in a bad way. Just
the first rebuff, I just open her car door. I'm like, then get the fuck out.
You got two legs?
It was high. Whatever.
It was higher than you think it'd be. It's higher than people would admit to.
It's
today.
in the 90s.
Whoa. Out of 100?
Yeah, because I don't think people were thinking in a way of doesn't matter what. No, they were just saying you know what it meant. It wasn't like they were looking to mount anybody. It was just
they're trying to make out a little.
Yeah, trying to get some little baseball action.
Right. I mean, they just went out. They spent money on a dinner and a movie, and they're like, "Hey, let's fucking make out a little bit." And she's fuck off.
I think you're thinking in terms of I'm owed this. I just think it was
you're in debt to me.
Yeah, I think it's back then. Mm-hmm. You could never ask that question today, but back then, I believe it still was said and put in a way that because everyone's laughing in the audience. It was two ladies too, were the two contestants, and they were just like. Well, I know I've never been with a guy that stopped the first time, and I told him. So they're laughing about it, and they're treating it as lighthearted topic that I believe back then it could be, but today's world is different.
If that question is asked on a game show today, Twitter is alight with I can't believe this shit.
So would you say it's the opposite of Family Feud when the new Family Feud?
I used to love Richard Dawson kissing everyone. I wish they still did that, spreading around herpes and shit.
Did you know what though?
What's it?
Mitch, do you know Richard Dawson met his wife she was a contestant on Family Feud, and his promise to her when they got married was he would never kiss another contestant.
And then he stopped?
Wow,
man. He was that was him. That was his thing.
That's in between every fucking commercial of the station. It seems
I usually flip off during the commercials because I can't fast forward. I'm
going through text. I can't believe it's shocking how much I text you back and forth.
You need an extra fucking memory card
because I've been scrolling through since we talked. And I'm only 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And,
This is back last September that you had this conversation.
I mean, there was one and what's the guy's the host name again?
Jim Perry.
He is so creepy sometimes. Some of the questions are we asked 100 college.
No, we asked 100 Playboy
The one I'm going to ask was they asked the college girls, how many of you have ever slept outside in the nude?
college girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like
my answer would be like in my mind, the way what I would think, unless they were unconscious, not sleeping but unconscious. Zero.
But like
why would you sleep outside naked?
Well, because you went camping, or I don't know. People sleep in the nude, though, right?
I know they do, but camping, like bugs and shit everywhere. like they just laid out in this bed of leaves with fucking ticks and boll weevils and shit all over the place.
But like when the lady contestant gives her answer, he's not willing just to take that answer. He goes, oh, "What about you?"
So he's all like lecherous and shit?
Yeah, it's awesome because it's so uncomfortable. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to answer that on national TV, Jim.
Will you answer it later? So he's a Jersey boy, man.
Yeah, I'm
born
sure
and bred
he's
in
dead,
Camden.
Right?
Yeah, he died in 2015.
Did I tell you me and Giddim's our game that we play with all the... it's kind of morbid.
We call it Kwigleeuh.
on game shows where celebrities are a part of the show.
You have to guess if they're dead or alive.
But for extra points to find winners, how they died, what was the reason, the cause of death.
Really?
Yeah, he's pretty good at it.
So not just cancer. You
got to say
the type of cancer.
One.
Well, you got to figure the type of cancer.
You just can't you just can't say cancer. You got to be like throat
lung cancer.
You have to be like prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Like pancreatic cancer.
It's kind of a morbid game, but
I mean, how often are you right on the exact cause?
He's been right a couple times. Yeah. He said throat because I figured it out. Like he listens for a raspy voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good job, get him.
Yeah, that's it. We do that quite often. Like Tattletales.
But sometimes if it depends on the show, it takes it down a notch. Like when the Honeymooners. When I was
the Honeymooners, the Ralph, the Jackie Gleason show?
They had these like young kids on, like the little Bobby Soxers, and like he was calling her like Atomic Love, and it was
Jim Perry was?
No. This was a Honeymooners episode, and he was I don't know. Somehow he figured he was able to get the actors' names, who are these like. Who were only on the show for like one episode for like 2 seconds,
super obscure.
and he fucking. He played the Deadpool game with, and it was like, they're like 14 at the time. So now he's like, how'd they die again?
Right now they're 114. He's like, ovarian cancer.
I couldn't find the girl, but the guy did. I think the guy died of cancer.
Yeah, it does put a.
Cancer gets a lot of people.
Well, no, there was the one guy. Let's Make a Deal. He was the announcer.
Yeah. Monty Hall?
Yeah, the announcer. We played it on the announcer.
But he was the announcer, and apparently from walking down the stairs carrying the whatever the game they were playing was, he injured his back, and the pain got so bad he eventually killed himself.
He committed suicide.
There's no way you gussed that.
No one, during the whole gameplay, neither one of us has ever said suicide.
Right.
But it was the fact that it was suicide.
Well, years from now, when you're playing it on comic book, and I'm not around.
It is a game that I found I don't like to play it much more. Like, we haven't played it in a while because it is a downer. We figured it out that it's like, you know what?
Because
sucks.
it's so light that like the tone of these game shows is so light and playful,
fluffy and playful that like, and then all of a sudden we're like playing it and we're like, but then the aftermath of playing it, you're like, oh, that's awful.
Yeah, like they're all dead.
Yeah.
There's the thing of, like, you watch 70s game shows and like when people give an answer that's fucked up, the host is not that taken aback. Whereas if a person gives like Steve Harvey an answer,
he's got to play it up to the hill,
ham it up so bad that like, and the answer isn't even that crazy, but he has to act like they just said the most outlandish, wild answer.
I mean, he's an actor.
And then half the time it's up on the board. Mm. He's acting like, oh, no one would say that. You're so crazy for saying that.
No one would ever say Kwigleeuh. Number one answer. Ding. How do I get in on this, man? How do I get in on this?
We haven't been playing the Deadpool game though, because like I said, it was a downer, and then every once in a while he'll send me his guess.
He's like, I'm only getting UHF stations tonight. So.
And I'm like, I'm not playing. I don't want to play, and he'll still keep sending me his guesses, and I'm especially if we watch Tattletales, there's six celebrities, so you got to do it, and I got it right once.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I've only gotten it right once or twice, but he's got a better average than I do.
Tattletales, that's...
It's husband and wives, celebrities, 6, and there's like 3 teams of 2, so there's 6 celebrities on the stage. 6
celebrities. Would it work today, Tattletales?
I think so. I think people want to hear dirt, don't they?
They do. Well, that show that you, not in a million years would it fly today, but I think it Three's a Crowd or Three?
Oh, that was a great show. Yeah, that would work today. I mean, that's what America loves. They want to see that animosity and that friction. You know.
Well, it was a husband, a wife, and a secretary, and basically it was like who knows more,
the man better,
right? Who knows him better? And so I watched some of it. I mean, it's an incredibly bad show. It's not like, oh, this is awesome.
I wish they would have put that on Buzzer.
But you can see, like, the guys say shit that it's like, I mean, get him as a 2017 gentleman because the shit these guys say is so, like, would be humiliating to the wife, right? Mm. You know, like admitting, like, oh, would you bang her? And the wife's like, no, he never banged a secretary. And he's like, yeah, I would. It's like,
what was the one?
Like you're asking for trouble going on that show.
What was the one the other day? If your spouse was to cheat on you, what nationality would they cheat on you with? Because remember, it was like.
Do you guys then try to guess the nationalities? Oh, she's got jungle fever. I know it.
No, because it was John Aston was on. He's like, oh, she loves it when I speak Italian. So
no, it wasn't nationality. It was like what accent gets your wife going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a lot more safer than and not as
it's
potentially explosive as
right.
Well,
are you talking like I mean, are you talking color, or are you literally talking like, I don't know, she's kind of really into Somalian guys, like because they run real fast in marathons?
What accent? What accent? What's her favorite accent?
What's
accent?
Joe's favorite accent? Can you divulge that?
I'm not sure, honestly. I would say maybe New Jersey. I hope.
Yeah. I know Debbie Chen's is Chinese. Like, oh, hey, Debbie, I'm back. Means at another con. Do you ever use that accent on Deb?
I can't do accents.
No.
It's not in my... You
don't pull a Declan on her sometimes?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not good at it.
No, it doesn't always mean no. Or would you find that, like, okay, going back to that 100 guy thing where it's like, the girl's like, no, and he still, like, kind of forges ahead. There's... say 22-year-old you and now 49-year-old you. Is one more persistent than the other? Has one learned over the years, over the decades, like, fuck it then? Or do the moves still work?
No,
the moves don't work
anymore,
huh?
The moves would still work, but
you're just too tired to put them on. You're like like watching the clock. You're like, fucking Card Sharks is coming up pretty soon.
But there was no tomorrow back then.
Right.
Tomorrow didn't matter. You got
still doesn't.
I find. Yeah, you got a tomorrow you got a tomorrow in your back pocket, so you play the tomorrow card.
Mm-hmm. She'll come begging for it tomorrow.
She can't hold on that long.
Not with these moves. All right. So we're here to talk about the paranormal, not old 70s game shows. Who wants to go first? What do we got here?
Let's hear what you got.
Want to hear mine?
Yeah, Fargo related.
Mine's no, it's not Fargo related, but it is. It's political intrigue.
Wow. That's unexplained, bizarre, and weird.
Oh, and it keeps changing daily.
Well, yeah, conspiracy theories. Now, this is...
what the fuck you give me that look like? All you saw is...
I'm reading his tablet screen.
Yeah. It was a murder, Walt. A recent murder.
Well, I've heard
within the past year. The murder of Seth Rich.
Yeah.
You've heard of this?
I've heard of this.
I just heard of this recently because I don't really look at the news that much. 27-year-old employee, in case you don't know, 27-year-old employee of the Democratic National Committee who was fatally shot in the Bloomingdale neighborhood of Washington, D.C. His murder is currently under investigation. The crime was used as the pretext for right-wing conspiracy theories, which have been debunked by law enforcement, but who knows? Maybe they're on the fucking payroll, right? I think what happened was, these theories falsely stated Rich was the source of the 2016 DNC email leak. According to U.S. intelligence assessments, Russian intelligence services are most likely responsible for hacking and the leak. His parents have condemned conspiracy theories and urged members of the press to stop posting about it. Okay, so
do they know who killed him, or they don't know who killed him yet?
I think it's still
arrested.
Two unidentified suspects.
Police were alerted to gunfire at 4:20 a.m. by an automated gunfire locator called ShotSpotter. I didn't know that existed. Like, I guess if you fire a gun.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of microphones set throughout the city, and based on when they each receive a shot, it triangulates it automatically, and then they dispatch an officer out there. I
really want to live in a city that requires ShotSpotter. I mean, who wouldn't want to fucking live there, right?
Well, you got to think about it. Like, people hear a gunshot and go, I'm not going to call the police. Someone else will do it. And like the fact that no one else calls it and you need this automated system to do it.
When was the last time you heard a gunshot in your fucking neighborhood, Walt?
I mean, I heard a lot of fireworks, but I don't know. They sound like guns sometimes, though.
What about you, Get 'em? That isn't like related to putting down a horse.
We have a range near us by the police department, so I hear it a lot. So it's you hear them a
constantly
bunch.
calling the cops.
No, yeah, you do hear about like if I hear kids out in the parking lot at the high school at night, I call the cops on them.
You call the cops on high school kids, huh?
No, if it's like
guns?
No, if it's like out in 2 a.m. like doing donuts or like getting into fights. I call the cops.
You're the old man. Get him.
Oh yeah.
Get off my lawn.
What are you kids doing out there?
I'm gonna call the cops.
There's only one good kind of donut, and it ain't that.
I can't eat that.
So they were alerted to gunfire. According to police, he died from 2 shots to the back. He may have been killed in an attempted robbery and noted the neighborhood had recently been plagued by robberies.
I'm not sure. So if no one's been arrested for the murder, how do they know it's not related?
What's not related?
How do they know that it's not related to the WikiLeaks and the
I don't think they do. Well, I think they're like, popular opinion is that it was the Russians that did it. But so some people are like, hey, Fox News controversy. Fox reported uncorroborated and later largely retracted claims that he had contacted WikiLeaks and law enforcement was just covering this up, claims which were never independently verified by Fox. Remember, like, very early on, you were, like, I always called you, like, the Bill O'Reilly guy because you would watch his show. And then you totally got out of Bill O'Reilly. Years and years ago. Yeah. Jump ship long before it was like he became the newest scumbag for harassing people and shit.
Yeah. I liked him back. They was doing this story that I found it to be admirable. Is that there was a murder of a kid, and he was taking the lawyers of the murderer to task because.
That was right around the same time that you developed your animosity for lawyers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like it was really shitty what these lawyers were. They knew that he was guilty, and they were playing the system, and they were just attacking the mother too, and yet they knew that he was the murderer, though, and so they were.
They knew goddamn well.
And they knew how could another human being? I don't care. How could another human being put that mother through such pain and then to try to cast her as a bad mother,
right?
Knowing that this guy really had done it, and he took him he wanted them disbarred, and I remember watching the show once, and I became I started to watch a show, but then once that story died down, it was all about fucking politics, which is so boring. I just I fell out of it.
Right. So. We'll look at a couple things here that maybe Seth Rich was, in fact. The robbers didn't take anything. He fought his attacker when he was found. This is from Listverse. I love this website. When he was found, his hands, knees, and face were bruised. There had been a struggle, but ended when he was shot 2 times in the back. And it looks like they didn't take anything. He still had his credit cards, his phone, his watch band was damaged but not stolen. And he had an expensive pendant he had draped around his neck that wasn't taken.
A pendant?
Yeah.
How many people wear pendants?
I don't know. It's we have a pendant?
That's what I'm saying. Not many
Saint
people
Benedict's?
wear pendants. We wear pendants for
look at us.
For to keep demons away, thanks to Father Lance. But speaking of Father Lance, he got a hold of me.
He's been excommunicated.
No. He set me straight. I am no longer in the Freemasons.
I noticed that your apron was gone.
Yeah.
What happened?
He just emailed me and was like, you know what? He goes, you don't want to do this. Your soul is at risk. and
as well as your lunch if you saw the guy that had fucking introduced you to it.
And he said that it's not a good idea. He didn't like the idea of it, and I took I took his words to heart, and I threw the. You weren't supposed to say that. You have to edit that out. But I threw that item that I was supposed to wear back in his face.
Oh yeah,
like you didn't tell me that I could. My fucking very soul was at risk.
Like it could burn for eternity.
To join this fucking stupid ass club where I got to fucking do fundraisers and. No one's telling me any fucking secrets.
We got an email from a guy who is actually a Freemason, and he was like, "Walt's going to need to understand that, like, it's not just like to use to lord over your friends."
So I was out. I've been out for a while.
I was going to say, I forgot to ask. Like last week, I didn't think I saw it. But how did he take it? Like, he must look like a real dickhead now. They're like, "Hey, so how's your young protege doing?"
How's Lightning Boy?
I don't care because he and I told him, and he goes, "Why? And I was just like, I told him, I was like, "Look, man, I got a inside man at the real fucking place where you worship stuff at," and he told me that you guys are sham guys, and you're
And then
he
said that.
And you're putting me at risk. You're putting my you're putting my soul at risk. I go, you failed to mention all that shit. You're telling me all about secrets and fucking sex and
right, like maybe a couple new moves.
What's that thing like about aprons that were like the golden fleece and all this cool shit. But you never mentioned though that it also comes at a price, a fucking pretty hefty price.
Maybe the ultimate price.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
His eternal soul. What the fuck is steeper than that?
No, it ain't maybe. It's definite.
Are you sure it was an apron or just not a giant bib for him?
All right, but so I'm out.
You're out.
And I never look back.
Now he'll never know. Now he'll never know what happened to Seth Rich.
Well, they're not going to tell you. Well, Julian Assange heavily implied he was the leak. WikiLeaks has never. Do you like WikiLeaks?
I've never been on it. Yeah, I never.
What about you, Gunham? Are you a fan of divulging this sensitive information?
Not because wasn't WikiLeaks related to what happened in the UK recently with all those hospitals getting shut down.
I don't know. Was it?
I know that it
was a virus.
But it was released in some set of documents about this flaw in Windows security, which enabled them to launch this
because that
virus.
was the NSA's documents, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it did cost people, I'm sure it cost somebody their lives because hospitals had to shut down and divert emergency cases and such like that.
If it did cost somebody their lives, though, you would have heard about it, though. It would have been a big.
Do you follow the news, Gidham? Like, do you read the news all the time? It's the same shit every day. I can't even look at it.
What I do, I've said this before, is when I go to get my coffee at Wawa, I flip over the front page, I take a look at the stories real quick, and that's kind of about how I fill up on some of the news. Unless it's my day off, then I usually watch the news because it's on after Judge Judy.
All right. He gave an example, Julian Assange. A 27-year-old works for the DNC, was shot in the back, murdered just a few weeks ago for unknown reasons. When the interviewer pointed out that Seth Rich died in robbery, Assange told him, "No, there's no finding. I'm suggesting that our sources take risks." So he's kind of saying, it was this guy.
Do you believe it was that guy?
I don't know. Julian... No, do I believe he was the WikiLeaks guy?
No, do you believe that this guy was murdered because he leaked it?
Because he leaked it.
Because he leaked it?
And
I wouldn't be fucking surprised, but at the same time, I'm literally just reading about this now.
Well, the Clintons there's a lot of conspiracies involved with them. Like, people have mysteriously died, and they're...
What are we going to do? I just got into a minor Twitter tiff with Chelsea Clinton. If I disappear, I want you guys to look into it.
Do you want to
into it as much as research you did tonight for your overkill story?
A cursory glance at Listverse.
Welcome to Tell 'em Steve Dave. Bryce not here.
He might have got murdered by the Clintons. He might not.
Go to TSD Cares on Reddit. To read an article about it.
Yeah, you can see his stuff.
I may or may
in a
not
few
post
weeks.
it. I don't even if I know how to post it. Maybe again we'll post it later.
And then it just sort of fades from memory.
If I'm not interrupted posting it by somebody asking me for an autograph or something.
Let's say he talked to emergency responders. If he was killed by somebody he knew, he certainly did not tell anyone. When the emergency responders found him, he was still alive. He was quite talkative. When he was rushed to the hospital, he chattered on. Something he had a reputation for. Oh, chattering too much, eh? Like spilling fucking secrets.
Loose lips.
Sink ships.
Sunk his own ship. He was known to be a joker, not an impractical joker, but a talker.
Wait a minute. That may be right there. Code. I'm a joker. I'm a toker.
I'm a midnight smoker.
But he said toker or talker?
But he got
talker.
See, there may be some code in that article right there.
But
you think there's a conspiracy within this conspiracy
But he quote unquote got smoked at midnight.
No, he didn't. He got smoked at 4 a.m., it said.
Oh, okay.
What's he doing out of 4 a.m.?
That's late to be walking around, right? Like, what time do bars close in
New York? I'm not sure.
No, it's in Washington.
Oh, it's in Washington? I thought it was in New York.
You're not, but you should not be walking around Washington, right? No part of Washington at 4 a.m., right?
No.
I thought it was New York.
Hold on. No, he met his end on a dark street in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
The fuck? Why don't you read a little bit more news,
why don't you stay at Wawa a little bit longer and fucking take a gulp of coffee and sit down and read it? Yeah. Why can't you just give him the fucking 50 cents?
Flip the fucking page, why don't you?
Give him the 50 cents and maybe educate yourself.
Like a dummy. An anonymous tip claimed he was the leak. Well, that's kind of...
Well, now supposedly Kim.com has come forward and stated that he was the leak, and if he's given, if he's allowed safe passage to America and safe passage back to New Zealand, he will divulge it in court.
That what he was the leak?
Yeah,
and not this guy.
Kim.com is saying, willing to that it's
to
separate.
say that this guy was the leak.
Did I ever tell you guys? Did I ever talk about this? That
you changed your name to Walt.com?
No, that I had somebody contact me, a listener of Tell 'em Steve Dave, who had explosive information about people on a certain news channel that would alter their career, could destroy their careers, and he was coming to Tell 'em Steve Dave for advice on whether he should release the photos.
Whether he should be the WikiLeaks.
That does sound familiar.
And
what was your advice? I mean, I can't fucking believe this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Well, because I didn't want to get involved in it, first off.
This might have been a fucking job for the space monkeys.
No, I don't want to get you involved in something so dirty. That's dirt. You know, like you're going to destroy someone's career.
Oh, wait. So it's a Tell 'em Steve Dave listener. Yeah, and he's like, I have photographs that could destroy the careers. You saw the pictures?
People. Huh?
You saw the pictures?
I did not see the pictures. Mm-hmm. But he said he had these pictures. He was overseas. Mm-hmm. And two people at a certain news channel appear in college, I guess, posed for some pictures that would come back to haunt him now, he said.
Scandalous.
And he didn't know whether he's been offered, felt he could sell, you don't know if he was offered the money for them or he felt if he were to put it out there that he had these pictures, he would be offered big bucks.
How did he come to be in possession of them?
Well, then with a little bit of pressing... Mm-hmm. It turned out that they were published in a magazine, and he had the magazine. So I was just like,
"So it's out there."
Yeah. So that's what I said. So it's out there, and he goes, "Well, yeah, but no one. I don't know if it's common knowledge."
Right. We can.
So no one's going to pay for them. I said then.
Right. We can. Can't we just blow it up a little bit more? Like, can't we? Yeah. I absolutely would have been like, "Hey guys,
we're closed."
It's like little kids. Yeah, I would have absolutely been like, nah. Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would I? Yeah, why? And it wasn't because it was for no other reason. It's like, why would I want to be involved with something so just gross? Like, you know, I wouldn't want to.
What's the dollar amount that he's like? I'll split it with you.
I don't even want.
No,
I wouldn't want to do it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be associated with such sleaze.
Let me tell you something. I'm giving you your blazer back. You
what
lost.
The heck?
You lost it. It's a little kid who just keeps up opening the door and looking in. You lost it when you wouldn't interview Nazi Dad, but now that I see you have this much integrity.
Yeah, I might be the only only reporter with integrity left in this world. Who's not.
I would trust you.
by any political side. I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm not even in the center.
Where are you? I mean, you got to be somewhere.
All over, man. I'm a fucking amoeba.
You're bobbing and weaving?
Yeah, I go
right.
on this thing, I'm over here. On this thing, I'm in the middle. On this side, I'm over to the left side.
You're zigging and zagging.
Yeah, you don't know where I'm at. I'm bobbing and weaving. I'm Sugar Ray.
All right.
Float like a butterfinger.
That's Ali.
Oh.
But like everybody seems to be reporting. There is no reporting that is not slanted to one side or the other.
No.
I don't think it exists.
No, I mean major websites like CNN. You can't read CNN.
You know,
you can't read it.
Over the board to one side, out to with agendas,
and then Fox is on the
other side. So they've both come to not both, but all have come to the realization. You cater to your audience, and you'll make a profit.
Right. You're gonna make some
catering to your audience means hiring people who are going to toe the company line, and I get it. Most people do want to just hear when they go home. If they do want to watch the news, and I don't know who would, but if they do want to watch the news, they at least want to get an affirmation on their leanings and the way they think, and that's why they'll turn on one channel as opposed to watching another. They're going to want to hear. They want to hear that. They want to hear that their views validated.
They just want to hear their own opinion repeated back to them, so they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm right. I am right."
Yeah, and I get it. And if but that was my lot. If I was a reporter, you gotta. There is no in the middle. I don't think anymore.
Right.
So you gotta choose one side or the other if you want a paycheck. So
unless you're with the Tell 'em Steve
I didn't
Dave
tell
News
you
team.
because I was afraid that you would demand to talk about it, and I didn't want to talk about it.
Which you just did.
You would want to. I think if we were going to talk about it in depth.
Oh, like when the mics go dark, you're going to give me some names? Did he give names as to who they were?
I would never reveal those names. I won't even reveal them to you, bro.
Really?
Nope.
I'm giving you Quinn's blazer. It says that this guy, an anonymous tip came into Fox News from someone who claimed to be a federal investigator, saying Seth Rich was the leak, and he had proof. He told them, "I've seen and read the emails between Seth Rich and WikiLeaks." Can
I just ask a question get him to look up while you're looking? Mm-hmm. Isn't Mark Rich involved with the Clintons too?
What about Richie Rich?
Yeah.
Look up Mark Rich Clintons while Brian's talking.
Seth sent 44,000 emails and almost 18,000 attachments to Gavin McFadden, who was a strong supporter of WikiLeaks and tightly connected to Assange, but he died of lung cancer in October 2016.
Another mysterious death.
And cancer. You wouldn't have guessed that, would you?
Well, you didn't hear him talk.
Right.
He bases all his guesses.
Let me tell you something about WikiLeaks. It was Seth Rich for sure.
Mark Rice.
Rich.
Private investigator Rod Wheeler claims the police investigation was shut down. That doesn't sound like a real name, does it? Like an introducing Rod Wheeler.
We know a Rod, though.
The football coach?
We know somebody named Rod, so it's not a fake name.
Well, his real name is Mike. It's not Rod.
What?
He said, "We know a Rod."
Which Mark Rich?
Mark Rich, Clintons.
Okay.
What happened with that?
Clinton camp questions FBI release of Mark Rich pardon files.
Oh, yeah, he pardoned Mark Rich. Now, is this Rich?
What did Mark Rich do?
He's a hedge funds manager, commodities trader. He indicted in the United States on federal charges of tax evasion and making controversial oil deals.
Because his wife gave a whole bunch of money to his either his election or his
Clinton's election. When
Clinton was going out, he pardoned Mark Rich. Now, is this Rich that died right now? Is he related to that Rich in any way, shape, or form?
I don't think so. I mean,
this runs deep. Has anybody even asked that question?
They got the same last name.
Has anybody even asked that question but me? Has anybody in the fucking press asked that question yet?
I don't think so.
Why am I not on Face the Nation? Why am I not on Meet the Press? Why am I fucking stuck on this shitty podcast?
Because you're watching Card Sharks all night with this fucking mutant. Remember when this happened? 40 fucking years ago?
I'm putting the fucking dots together.
Yeah, you are.
I'm connecting them.
This is related to Kalugi.
Kalugi.
I am not seeing anything on Seth Rich and Mark Rich.
No relations?
They're not cousins?
Bullshit.
Cousins?
It's fucking, it's there, it's deep, and if you dig a little, we'll find out the real answer.
Here's his parents. They deny he was the leak. That's some sweater, huh?
Yeah, because they don't want to. They don't want to fucking. They want to. They don't want to die too.
Right. They'll be next. They're like, look, he fucked
How
up.
do they know he's not the leak, though?
They don't. Like,
Nobody
if Pam and
knows.
Edgar were like, he's not the leak, like, you'd be like, he was probably the leak.
Yeah, they're like, sure he wasn't, Pam. All right, so you got any more on that? I mean, I love it. I love it that you changed your game. You went with something different. You know, you keep
Something
everybody
topical.
guess. You changed the topic, and wasn't your go-to as when you tend to go your overkill subjects. It's usually morbid and
like a missing
and horrible.
This
one, I mean, not that this isn't horrible. You know, somebody died, but
Murdered,
and.
But you're saying you wouldn't put it past the Clintons to have this guy taken care of for leaking shit.
Well, they got Vince Foster. He supposedly committed suicide.
Yeah, there's a
with a assembled gun with all the serial numbers filed off.
There's a movie to be made out there, right?
No, I don't think Hollywood would touch a Clinton movie.
A
critical Clinton movie?
No?
No, what was that? Well, there was one that was supposed to be about Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Slick Willie?
Yeah, I
Was it
forget.
called Slick Willie?
That was a porno you were jerking off to.
Well, caressing my mannequin.
Wow, Monica.
Is that a stain on your dress?
Fine Cuban cigar.
All right, you done now? You want to move on, or you got more? Is there more?
That's it. You know, I'm glad. Like sometimes I'm super like apathetic about shit because if I cared about the Clintons and all the shit that went on with them, it would be like the JFK assassination. You'd never be able to stop thinking about it, and like you say, like connecting things.
Oh, you'd have all the pages with the yarn.
Yeah, all over the place. No, not me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see at any point in your life I've never seen you care enough about anything that you'd have fucking push pins and yarn.
Best case scenario, I do it for like 6 hours. I'm like, oh, what's that?
A bird flies by the window, huh?
Yeah. Was that bird gray?
I think it was a goose.
Oh,
I gotta go investigate this. Put your blazer on.
Yeah. Was that a goose or a giant duck?
I think that the penguins aren't supposed to fly, right?
Oh, that's what they want us to think.
Yeah, that's what the Clintons have told us. Back on the Clintons then. Yeah, so that's it. Seth Rich, will we find out?
Well, let's at least tell the listeners your opinion. Is there something there, or is there nothing there in your opinion as an overkill host?
A long-time overkill host. I think it bears looking into.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm. That's always the case.
If it stinks, follow your nose.
Well,
so
it depends on what the stench is. I mean,
do you think the U.S. will meet Kim.com's demands?
He wants to be flown in and out without any prosecution?
Yes. And he wants safe passage to America and back to New Zealand, and he will divulge in open court what he knows.
Why can't he do it in a New Zealand court?
Because I guess in America, you have to be able to cross-examine the...
No.
I don't think so. I think they're probably not taking him seriously because he's Kim.com. Yeah. He's a rich guy, though, right?
I'm not sure if he's rich or not. He was.
I thought he was rich. Yeah. Did they take all his money?
I think they might have
took all his bitcoins and shit.
Yeah, they might have. Because I know, they raided his mansion and everything.
Mm-hmm. Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates?
Where, Bri? Where?
ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter, you say?
Them, yes. If you had a business, get them.
If I had a business.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was...
could have. I gave him an opportunity. I had startup money.
Several businesses.
At hand for him. I had people willing...
You had capital.
I had people willing to invest in the company. And I got an email from a listener who was one of the reasons why they don't like you is because...
just one.
Yeah. One of the reasons they don't like you is because you have been given the gifts, and you don't accept the gifts, and you don't appreciate the gifts offered, and you turn your nose up to them. And one of them was the bookbinding business, where you could be right now be the head of a company trying to find someone to do the shit work And you could go to ZipRecruiter and find that fucking
I could go to
ass hat.
ZipRecruiter. I could go to ZipRecruiter and put it, but couldn't anybody then go to ZipRecruiter and put in what they're looking for and have thousands of applicants?
But you have to be a mover and a shaker. Though you have to be in a position to hire somebody. Do you think that's ever going to happen with your current fucking go-getter attitude?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. ZipRecruiter might not be
the ambition. I mean, where's the needle at on the ambition right now?
Right now, on a scale of 1 to what?
10.
6.
Get the fuck out of here!
Better than
6.
If it were 6, you'd be in a bookbinding business.
You really think you got a 6-level ambition?
You won't even look up at people for fear of missing a bite of your lunch. That's not ambitious.
If we weren't tied together through time, I would be fucking looking on fucking ZipRecruiter.com to fucking get rid of your ass. Get somebody competent in.
Really, I mean, let's think about it. If you hadn't met Gidim in 10 lives ago, you wouldn't depend on him finding you. You find them. 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. It wouldn't have taken you fucking 10 lifetimes to get to this point.
Oh my God, yeah.
No juggling emails or calls to your office. Simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place.
Or you read your own emails.
And the 9 previous lifetimes, am I this disappointed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it never is. It never where he's.
It's a constant throughout the galaxy, throughout time, throughout it all. He disappoints.
I am that broken necklace you pulled the draw on and just.
Like one day you had your jeweler's loop, you were checking something out, fixing a piece of jewelry. You looked out, you saw this asshole cleaning up horse shit like in the street because there's no cars. Yeah. And you're like, oh, maybe this guy has something.
I saw people shitting on him, like not literally, but being treated shabbily.
Yeah. Well, no, they like an asshole.
When they used to throw the waste right out of the.
Yeah, you probably threw it right on top of you.
Yeah, you're wearing it for a hat, and he felt bad for you. He took pity on you. He's like, hey, come on in here, and then he talked to you maybe about starting a little side business, man. Like, hey, you're working for this guy cleaning up horse shit. How about you're the dude with the cart? Mm-hmm. And there's some other jerk off we got from ZipRecruiter, and he's getting shit thrown on him. And you're like, nah. I'm happy wearing my shit hat.
But I'm not kidding around. There's a long time listener sent me an at-length email about why that you're not willing to take that opportunity angered him. And you don't know opportunities like that don't come around every day in people's lives. And good ideas that you don't take advantage of, you may come a day when you're like, man, I can't believe I didn't take advantage of that opportunity. When I had Ming, I had Mike, Q were on board to invest in you. Mm-hmm. And
I'm sorry, why wasn't I not invited into this business venture?
It's the people with capital.
Yeah. You're like this guy from Surf Taco. I forget his name.
Would you have invested? I needed.
What are we
6
doing?
6 figures.
Bookbinding.
6 figures? Get the fuck out of here! I mean, if there's a decimal point, 2 decimal points in there, maybe. There's no fucking way those guys are all willing to invest 6 figures in this.
Oh, they're willing to. Are they capable? No, but they're willing.
I really wanted $25,000 each from everybody.
Why do you need? Wait a second.
We gotta buy the machines.
So wait. So there's you, Q, and these other 2.
Mike.
So you got 100,000.
Yeah, we need more than that.
Okay.
You definitely need $250,000.
Well, why do you need to buy the machines? Can't you lease them or?
They don't lease these machines. These bookbinding machines are like they're hard to come by. They don't make them anymore. You got to go. And plus, you need like 3 years worth. You need to be in the red for 3 years. Mm-hmm. Got to expect that.
And could anyone wonder why I'm not a little worried about getting put on the crux of a $250,000 investment?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy that you guys were like, hey, we know who we'll put in charge.
Well, you know what?
Maybe it's like the producers.
In the words of Eminem, I'm looking at this right now. You only get one shot Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo. All right?
Do you think that...
You're not going to get another shot.
There's vomit on my sweater.
Do you think that was...
Mom spaghetti.
Is there a chance, Bri, that was his...
That was his shot?
That was his only shot? Could you imagine at his age? That was the shot?
That was the best
and he
shot.
Didn't take the shot?
An opportunity where 2 of the people have that much money to invest, probably. The other 2 would be like, oh, wait, what are you talking about?
We got to pay rent on the
Mike and
studio.
They got the money.
You think Ming has $100,000 to invest in a fucking bookbinding business?
Well, they could take a loan out.
Just mortgage your houses, guys. Your wives don't have to know.
I didn't know. No, I said.
Picture them with the bag with ties on.
Yeah. This one thing that this guy had been doing for years and was like, this is not worth it.
50
We want to get into that business. So 50 G's a person.
50 G's a person.
Okay.
50 G's now.
To get into bookbinding.
Right.
In the digital age.
Right.
Right.
Because
you're the only game in
common.
town. You're the only game in town.
There's only a handful in the country that do it, and we have a platform that we could sing it to out in the digital ocean of Mike and Ming's I Sell Comics, Mike and Ming show, Tell 'em Steve Dave, Comic Book Men. We could have promoted that, and we could have been the premier bookbinding company in the world.
I mean, nobody has more.
BTK could have been advertised on podcasts just like Casper.
What's BTK?
Bind to keep. That was Mike's idea.
He wanted to call him. Yeah, he thought BTK would be a clever.
It's like, Mike, we just want your money, not your ideas.
You know what the term silent partner means?
Yes. Please. We wrote silent partner on your contract for a reason.
Just for that comment, you got to give us extra 10 G's.
Yeah. You tell everybody else. It's 50. He's 60.
Is it? Well, when will it come to that horrific realization when you're lying at bed one night and you're just like, oh my God, that was my shot.
Could have been binding books.
That was my shot to be financially, like what's it called when you don't have any? You're not reliant, financially reliant. You would have owned a stake in something for once.
Mm-hmm. That is the American dream, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know how many contacts we got? Do you know how many people how many people would have heard about this?
The only thing they asked of you was to fucking learn an antiquated fucking skill
that only a few people in this country do.
Yeah.
As a profession, with skill and experience,
and then dive in head first, making no money for 3 straight years. I mean, it's not that crazy what they're asking of you.
When you're sitting,
and then hope by year 4 that bookbinding is that these contacts that these guys have are still like, I'm sorry, wait, who?
When I'm sitting there eating rice and beans in year 2,
like you're not eating rice and beans now.
Dude, you were crying over a can of lost beans. Yeah. Year 1 or year 20? Yeah.
But by that
you're
point,
right. It's exactly the same.
But by that point in time, my livelihood is based on the success of I Sell Comics.
Oh boy, yeah. There's a lot.
How long have they been potting? They got to be approaching anniversary status at this point.
I'm pretty sure they're up like near 300, right? They got to be.
I've seen crazy people yelling at the wind for 7 years. It doesn't mean anyone's listening.
People are listening. I Still Comics. You can't take that away from them. They were on Huffington Post. They're all over the place.
They like, and all kidding aside, though, I wish that like you had the enthusiasm to do it because I think it could have been successful. I don't know if it would make us millionaires. No. But it would have made us
thousandaires, possibly.
But like we would have turned a profit though eventually.
Issue 263, so they're getting up there.
They're getting closing in on 300. Then when you get married again.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is almost a year.
Yeah, for real this time though, maybe, right?
Oh,
Mike can do the service. He's an ordained minister. Make an honest woman.
Well, I'm saying it's been almost a year since my marriage.
But a real marriage.
Yeah, we're talking the real deal, man.
On I Sell Comics.
What's more special, than on a podcast that Huffington Post called Sort of Listenable?
I think they could do
without having listened to it in the first place, I bet.
Maybe they could do like a Ming and Debbie recommitment ceremony.
Possibly. They could do that.
Oh, you know what? That would be a good idea. Renew their vows.
Yeah.
Both of them renew their vows on their podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I would go to that. Why not? Would you go to it?
Well, they're going to have it at the stash, right?
And it's during store hours. So
I'm there.
yeah, I mean, you can't be put
Unless
out.
it's a Saturday. Unless it's my Saturday off.
So it's your Saturday off. Mike's working and trying to take his vows at the same time. Hold on, honey. I got to ring up a Fantastic Four
Mike
trade.
takes his Lawrence Dante shirt and 2 trade paperbacks.
Well, the call to action, very quickly. ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes. We're talking Fortune 100 companies on down to your fucking obscure bookbinding companies.
How long would it take? Is there a world where
Currently,
bind to keep could make the Fortune 500? And I'm not asking that. No?
Yeah,
okay.
In fucking the 19th century, baby. That's the world.
Only if we get bought out by Time Warner.
So there's no chance in hell that we're not successful to make Fortune 500?
You're talking beyond niche at this point, right? You're talking about
I don't
guys
know.
like you who are like,
I'm
I've
not
got
a
all these
businessman.
shitty comics.
I just have the passion. I don't have the business mind, though.
Right. You need... Well, none of you do. Mike and Ming got kicked out of their podcast studio.
Because you're paying rent to the
this
wrong...
guy's the fucking grunt. You've
You're
got the
paying
passion.
rent to the guy who didn't even own the building.
Yeah. That's not a head for business. You're like, so who's on your board? Well,
Q's got a good head for business.
he does.
He's the business guy. He's the guy that makes the hard decisions.
Right.
Like who to pay the rent to.
Yo, you got some ID.
If I know one thing, it's who to write the check to. Oh, he's so smart. How's he do it? You see, Mike?
But all seriousness, what would I mean? I don't know. What, like Fortune 500, that's like upper echelon. Is there a Fortune?
There's a Fortune 100. That's
Okay,
like top
that's
100
top,
companies.
all right. What's the least?
Fortune the least?
What's the least? Like Fortune will register or Fortune will recognize the least amount of it, like the most amount of businesses.
We'll just complain we were 501 and kept off the list.
I mean, I think it might be
Fortune 1000.
Well, let's see. There's Fortune. I thought it was Fortune 500, but I mean, the chances of you guys getting on that are pretty slim. Pretty slim. That's not to say it couldn't be done. Because here's what you do.
We
You have to
buy
become
out
a
all the other
conglomerate.
ones. We buy out everybody else, and we're the only fucking game in town. That's why I need $100K from everybody.
Let me tell you something. You're already the only game in town.
No, we're not.
You're probably the only game in
Well, in this town, yes,
the
but like
contiguous
I want to
fucking
buy out
United
everybody
States.
on the internet. When you type it up
right.
and you go to another person's website, we really own the company. Mm-hmm. But we don't trumpet that to everybody, though. We allow everybody to think.
You want to be as silent as Mike. As silent as Mike should be is how silent you guys are.
Yeah, but like everybody, if you're getting a book bound, you bet your ass that money's going.
It's
fucking
BTK, right.
You're getting that money.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing businesses like Google listed as 117 on the Fortune 500. So,
We'll take over Google, and then anytime anyone Googles a comic book, it comes to us.
but that's what you do. You have to like diversify, right? Like first you're bookbinding, but then like how Rockefeller used to do it, right? Like you have your bookbinding company, but then you buy something that the bookbinding company needs. Like you buy what do they need? Like those covers
Paper.
or whatever.
Paper.
Yeah. You buy a paper company, then you sell that
paper mill.
You buy a paper mill, and then you sell that paper mill. That you sell that paper to yourself. You're making money on both ways.
Real low price.
Then you buy a railroad, and you fucking cart that fucking paper to your fucking bookbinding business.
I won't even.
So now you got your railroad. You don't want to be a part of the road. Well, fucking what's Ming going to do then?
Okay, just so you know, Coach is $4.89 on the Fortune 500.
We'll bury Coach.
In their own overpriced bag.
And we're not talking a stagecoach from your previous life. We're talking-
All right. I mean, I like to shoot big, but I guarantee
you got to dream big.
I guarantee you, we would have turned a profit at a certain point, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, hold on. Let me give the fucking end of this. The call to action. So if you have a job and this ad has inspired you maybe to use ZipRecruiter, it's free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/TESD. That's ZipRecruiter.com/TESD. One more time. Try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/TESD.
All right. What do you got, Get 'em? Now, I told you Monday, right? That
yes.
We knew Monday. We knew Monday that Q was potting with another.
I did not know that fact.
Well, I didn't know either until just now, but we knew Q wasn't available this week. Q's on the West Coast, so I asked you, can you come in? Can you stay late after work? And we're going to do an overkill, so you need to bring a mystery subject.
And as late as 5 o'clock, I saw you chiding him for not coming up with a topic yet.
So this also probably is on the fly.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, that I read up on this subject, but I did come up with it on the fly to use it. It's also based on WikiLeaks.
But on the fly. So wait a minute. So how could it? Yes and no. How could it be?
It had been on my radar, but I hadn't paid a lot of attention to it.
Until now.
Until now.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Until I was like, oh shit, I'll just talk about that.
But it's also related to WikiLeaks.
Another WikiLeaks one?
Yes, it came out through WikiLeaks.
All right.
The fact that we may have invaded Iraq because they were in possession of a Stargate.
Ooh, I like this.
And it's
you know what a Stargate is, Brian?
I know it's a TV show and
a
get
movie.
It was a movie first.
Oh, it was a movie first?
Yes.
Did we see it? I think we saw it.
MacGyver was the star of it.
Okay, yeah.
No, it was the star of the television show. The star of
the TV.
But we went to
movie
see
was
the
what's
movie.
his name from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Val Kilmer?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
David
Russell?
Hasselhoff?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell,
sorry.
Yes.
What'd you say, David Hasselhoff?
Well, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. So.
All right, so Stargate.
It was boring as fuck, right? The movie.
It was bad.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it made it into a TV show because it was boring. Because I thought it was going to be cool.
Wait, Stargate was boring or Guardians of the Galaxy was boring?
No, Stargate was
okay.
boring.
Okay.
Stargate we had a lot of potential.
Well,
but Stargate is a doorway.
It's a gateway, yes.
For time travel, correct?
No, not time travel. To different gates in other places in the universe and the galaxy. And in order to figure out the point, you need to dial in 7 chevrons. So that corresponds to a 3D location throughout a universe, to an exact point.
This was on your radar.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well,
you don't speak with this kind of jargon.
Well, I do like the show because it has Richard D. Anderson, who's MacGyver.
Okay, so Iraq had a Stargate, and Bush wanted it.
Yes. And that's why we invaded. And it also explains why when people say it was a boring movie and the such, that they made the movie to cover it up so that if anyone came forward with these facts, and they even did an episode of Stargate about that it was a cover-up for the Air Force to cover up the actual program.
Well, you're getting too deep. Now it's this. Wait a minute. So Stargate, the TV show, made an episode about the movie sucking?
No, they made an episode. They made an episode about the television show being a cover for the actual Stargate program on the television show.
Oh, okay.
But some people say that was a cover for the movie, which was a cover for the real life incident.
Why did Bush want the Stargate?
Why not? So we could control it as a country.
I know, but what would be the advantages? Why and how did Saddam Hussein? How did he acquire it?
Just like it was actually, I think it was just like it was in the movie. It was buried there from an ancient time, and no one had gone about discovering it. And he might have discovered it, and we caught wind of it, and we decided we needed it.
Did he ever utilize it?
Who knows? It could be like the doors in the Walmarts, where they go to a planet in another galaxy that has stuff that we need. And they bring it in. And
now, who's fostering this conspiracy?
Well, WikiLeaks.
Is this fan fiction?
No, WikiLeaks specifically mentions Stargate in relation to military programs and Task Force 20. Who was involved in the Gulf War?
What's Task Force 20?
Task Force 20 is a government task force of soldiers that was involved in the Iraq conflict. And it's in WikiLeaks, which is secret documents, there are relations to Task Force 20 related to a program called Stargate.
Then they released documents on the Stargate?
They didn't release documents on the Stargate itself, but they're saying that's the speculation that it was actually a cover-up.
What did they release on WikiLeaks?
I'm not sure the exact documents. I didn't go into all the...
For fuck's sake.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't on Listverse.
Fucking Stargate story.
It wasn't on Listverse. I'm sorry.
Hey, at least I had shit to talk about. I'm not halfway through. I fucking fizzle out. I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
no, I don't know the exact documents and what they related to.
What do you mean you don't know? You all you got to do? Can't you just look it up?
I can try to look it up.
Well, don't try. Tell me what you know, though.
I did tell you what I.
Why didn't Saddam Hussein use the Stargate though to win the war?
I don't believe he could have. It would, based on what we learned in the movie, it took some technical knowledge to unlock how to activate the chevrons, and you needed advanced. So he
was in possession of it, but he never used it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He's just like, I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess.
So we now America.
He didn't have the scientific knowledge to.
How do you know he didn't?
We're talking about Iraq. I wasn't known for its think tanks.
What's that?
Is that racist?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm saying Iraq wasn't known for its think tanks.
Iraq wouldn't have enough wherewithal to run.
I don't believe that the Iraqi government was funding
these are guys
science enough.
who just need enriched uranium to fucking have a nuclear bomb. They seem smart. You're like, no fucking some goat fucker can't fucking run a Stargate like a fucking red-blooded American. Little racist, get him.
So.
That's the only reason, because they couldn't figure out how to get the Stargate to work. So Saddam Hussein's like, fuck it then.
No, he was actively trying to get it to work, and then we come steamrolling in.
Personally?
What?
Personally, Saddam Hussein or his people?
Scientists.
His people.
The scientists, okay.
Well, I'm sure he was going in and,
So is there reason to believe that we found the Stargate and we took possession of it?
Well, that's what they believe Task Force 20 was sent in to do.
In Task Force 20,
Stargate back, assholes.
Were they active? What kind of history did they have? Were they engaged in Iraq for a long period of time, or were they in and out?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't read that fast. I don't think some dumb Iraqi could ever work a Stargate. They're not smart like us Americans.
WikiLeaks.
Yeah, I got to take a WikiLeak. Get him. Do you think you have what it takes, to be on a task force, or maybe not now? Definitely not now. But when you were younger, like a 20-year-old, get him.
A task force to do what?
I don't know, to go in and fucking get the Stargate back or whatever.
No.
I
don't think he had. I don't think you had to have a certain mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That
he doesn't have it. He's too distracted.
Oh my God! No, he can't. He doesn't take orders well. He doesn't.
So you'd have to be the sergeant or something then.
What?
If he doesn't, does he give orders well?
No.
So he neither gives nor takes orders well.
He would not,
unless he's ordering lunch.
Apparently, it's very confusing what I do with that.
I don't see him being in any way, shape, or form being any asset to any military installation.
Really?
Not even in a latrine.
He peeling, you want to put him in charge of peeling potatoes for fear
that he would
most of the potatoes will be gone.
Not to be potatoes. Yeah. What am I going to eat?
You better not put me in charge either. I'm gonna eat the shit out of them potatoes.
You need to have that you got to have that moxie. You got to have that a task force. That's right. SEAL shit, right?
Literally task force. They're called Task Force 20.
And it's not I'm not saying it's not even I'm sure in his 20s he was hopefully his physique was a 20-year-old physique. Was it? Was it? No.
You were thin though in some pictures.
Yeah, that was 2001. No, that was 2011.
How old were you in 2000? Well, that was only fucking 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So you're saying your physique was better 5 years ago than it was when you were 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a mindset. I'll run through a brick wall, and no.
He doesn't get it.
No. Not many. Not a lot of people do. That's why a lot of people can be SEAL. And that's not a slam. That's just I couldn't do it. No, nobody I know could be a SEAL.
Nobody, huh?
Maybe Troy.
Yeah, I'll bet you Troy has one.
By the way, happy birthday, Troy.
I don't know. Is today's birthday?
Yes.
Huh, happy birthday. Why
Happy
don't I know
birthday.
that?
I didn't know it.
You know why? Because guys aren't like, hey, did you know it's my birthday?
Well, this is nice. You gave him a happy birthday, a shout out on his birthday.
Yeah,
Or
get him
did.
reminded me.
And plus,
He'll listen to it 5 days later.
And plus, how good does that feel? I told him he could have been a SEAL.
And I was like, probably not.
If out of everybody we know, if he's not the fucking guy that could be the SEAL, who else?
Out of anyone we know?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Troy would be the only guy.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Frank 5?
No way.
No,
He's too weird.
He sits behind a desk. I mean, he's in
Frank 3?
Frank 3?
Yeah. He doesn't have any
Frank
hair,
3.
so he's smooth like a seal.
Frank 3? Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance does he have the
Fire department Q.
physically? Yes, mentally so unbalanced though at that stage.
Too touch and go, yeah.
Oh my god! Every I mean, it was like you said, it was
Like he made me look normal at times.
yeah. He was in a bad way mentally. You got to be like I said, you got to run through a wall.
Mike
And
or
nothing.
Ming?
Mike or Ming.
Well, are
Ming.
these seals
Ming,
or
but-
comfort girls to seals?
Ming would run. Ming would run through the wall, but his stature would be like he'd be like Bucky Barnes to a real SEAL. You know, he'd be like the little.
Maybe the sidekick.
Yeah,
you always, but you always need the small guy to like go through that vent or that hole.
he'd be like the rat.
or like
the
what's his
canary
name
in
in
the mines.
Ocean's 11?
Ming's the fucking the rat.
Ming is the grease
They
man.
send him into and there's a the Stargates in one of those is like in a
They gotta
underground tunnel.
Yeah, they got to go through the old air duct.
And they're like there might be an IED down there. Send in our little Ming.
Send in our little yellow canary.
It goes off. It's at least not a SEAL died.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's a loss, but it's not a.
a loss,
real
but it's a forgettable loss. Easily forgettable. Yeah, I think.
Does
Ming-
Debbie
He'd run
Chan get
through
the
a
flag?
wall.
Nah, I don't even know if she notices.
I believe he does. I think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I believe he has the proper mindset to be convinced I need to run through a wall for you, for somebody else. And I don't mean in a bad way, but there is a certain you are almost hypnotized into thinking you are indestructible, and I think that's what I think Ming could do. Could be hypnotized.
So he opens up that locket, sees that picture of Mike, and then just runs through that wall and takes down the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that look on his face in any number of Instagram photos with like a girl who sold him like a taco or some guy who fucking was like, "Oh, you're Ming, here, have this coffee." And then he's like, "They're the fucking best people ever."
I kill for them.
Like, yeah, he's able to convince himself of certain things, I guess.
Yeah.
Or he's a total fucking fraud, either one.
So is that it? Is there nothing left about this story?
I'm not even sure what his story was now. Like, now that you bring it up, I'm not even sure what it was.
Okay, so now you're sitting at the table now. Mm-hmm. You have been given overkill host status to weigh in on this as whether you believe there's something here. Is there a smell that you think
I think
you would follow on this, or do you think there's nothing
there
there?
were so many artifacts and the such that were found underneath, or found in that area of the world, that it very well could. And there's supposedly biblical texts or ancient texts that refer to something like a Stargate being in the Sumerian area.
It's like he's a kid who like didn't read the book and he's about to give an oral report in front of the class and he's just looking at the cover, trying to surmise what it might be about.
But you're like, there's been artifacts under there,
Religious texts and such.
texts and such,
Yeah, whatnot.
and if they're like, well, what do you mean underwear?
The Stargate, asshole.
It's a mountain.
What do you think I'm
It's a
talking
cotton
about?
gin.
Basically, yeah, this is the cotton gin all over again.
We've been talking a lot about your moves, Walt.
Yeah,
And I know you make these moves on a Casper.
yeah, I do.
A sleep brand that created one perfect
Or under
mattress. Isn't a perfect mattress? What'd you say?
Or under it.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't matter. Casper doesn't judge. Its award-winning sleep service was developed in-house as a sleek design. Now, do you have a Casper?
No, I do not.
No.
I wish I did, but
do you find that getting busy on a Casper is easier because you said no springs? It bounces back. It has a foam memory.
Yeah. Silent.
It remembers. Yeah, it tells no fucking secrets, man. There's no WikiLeaks going on in there. How did they do that? Is that what you said when the box came, or were you cool, a free mattress?
I've heard Target is making the biggest. Target is taking Casper.
They're buying Casper for $1 billion. Somebody else bought fucking Dollar Shave Club for $1 billion. What the fuck? Why are we not seeing any of this money?
Even if we just saw a couple G's each for for helping get the word out.
Team effort.
Yeah, we have helped spread the word about your product.
Well, maybe in the future the contracts need a stock or something. Just
one. Options, right? Yeah, we get one share.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck Casper and fuck fucking Dollar Shave Club. We need to invent something that Time Magazine is yo, that's award winning, right? In-house team of engineers spent, forget it, thousands of hours developing the Casper supportive memory foam for a sleep surface. It's got just the right sink and just the right bounce.
I wonder if this will mean they are not going to need a podcast.
Target?
No, Casper. If they are made their inroads into being carried at Targets across the country, is there a need to do a commercial on a podcast? Was there ever a need, to be honest with you?
Enjoy this. It may be the last Casper ad here.
This may be the last time. All good things come to an end, and this may be the last Casper ad. They may be ready to move on.
Yeah. It wouldn't need to be delivered to your house. You could go pick it up and then drop it right back off if you weren't satisfied. Because they do offer a 100-night challenge, right?
I don't know about that I'm sure. Yeah, everything's going.
Well, here it is. Here's the newest, latest. Target looked at buying the mattress startup Casper for $1 billion, but it will invest instead.
Yeah, they're going to.
They're trying to court young shoppers with new brands. Oh, they don't give a fuck about us then.
Who?
Me and you, and even get them. We're not young shoppers.
Yeah, but they had no idea. But over the internet, though, no one knows how old you are. They just hear a voice.
What do you want, a webcam ordering a mattress? Why would they hear your voice?
No. They're saying they thought that they were getting a hip podcast.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they heard our voices and they're like, wow, these guys really they know what they're talking about. WikiLeaks and fucking. Then you guys fucking bring up bullshit like card sharks. They're like, wait a second. So let me see. What were we talking about? Casper offers free delivery and free returns with a 100-night home trial. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up and refund you everything. I think Target keeps that up. That's a tough one. That's a good fucking return policy. 98 days.
Target may have 90 days as it is, so there may only be 10 days less.
You're gonna get.
It's not going to matter. I wonder how many people have ever returned one. It's too superior.
I talked to someone who was like, they need a new mattress, and I was like, you should get a Casper, and they're like, well, I could return it after 100 days, and I said, you're not gonna though. Why would you? $50 towards any mattress purchase at Casper.com/TESD. Use promo code TESD. Get it before they start selling it in Target. The whole thing about Casper, though, is that they sell it online, cutting out the middleman, and now they're in bed with the middleman. No fucking pun intended, right?
Well, no, if they offer it for the same exact price in store.
How does Target make any money then? Now they got to split it with Casper?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking about getting your product. And so many more people are going to be exposed to it now than
even more than Tunnel Seat Dave.
Even more than Tunnel Seat Dave.
If Casper's making 30% on it, they're happy with that, and if Target makes 10% on it, Target would be happy with that because they're such a big corporation. It'd be like a loss leader.
Why aren't you a hedge fund manager?
Speaking of loss leaders, did you know that Casper was also had ISO Comics pimping for them too?
For a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ming stole the mattress and sold it on Mike.
Yeah, I think the days of doing Casper ads for both of us, ISL Comics and TSD, are over.
Does ISL Comics still do Casper?
I don't know. They may, but
or were Mike and Ming getting a mattress and then returning it every 100 days because they wore it out?
Please, no more returns. It's said too much.
$50 towards any mattress purchase. U.S., Canada, and now the U.K. Oi! Please use your personal experience with your Casper mattress. Nope. It's too private. Too private. All right, Walt. You must have a good one.
Well,
can you blow away?
I think
whatever the fuck it is, get him said about Stargate.
I think mine. I've always been interested in this because I've experienced this phenomena, and I asked Gidim if he experienced the phenomenon today, and he informed me that he is in a constant state
of this phenomenon. Okay.
I want to use that word as much as possible and make it sound like it's worthy of being an overkill subject. Because some people listening tonight may be like...
They're like, phenomenon, whatever. I've heard it before. But if Gidim is in a constant state of this phenomenon, I'm dying to find out what it might be.
You may have experienced, too. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody in the world that hasn't experienced it on some levels, but not. I don't think not like me and Gidim have experienced it.
Right. I mean, that goes without saying that you guys are, on a like next level.
No matter what it is.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
They had numbers in the article. I can't find it.
Are you still trying to find shit about Stargate?
No,
nobody cares anymore.
What I'm talking about is something that everyone's heard of, everyone's experienced, but not like...
A third of the population, they say, has never experienced it.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Blue Apron by any chance?
Go ahead.
Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. Blue Apron's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone. Establish partnerships with local farms, fisheries, and ranchers. Cooking together builds strong family bonds. When Joe comes here, you're going to cook with her?
Yeah.
All right.
We can't let's.
Will you be a Blue Apron family? That's what I need to know.
Possibly.
It's only under $10 a person for delicious. Do you think Joe would like beef teriyaki stir fry with sugar snap peas and lime rice?
Yes, because she likes green vegetables, whereas I don't.
All right. You mostly eat hay, right?
There's stuff underneath it.
Baked spinach and egg flatbread with sautéed asparagus. You have to really have sort of a refined palate for Blue Apron. I'm looking at this. I'm like, I wouldn't eat any of this shit. Crispy salmon.
That's why you're in the state that you're in, though.
What, a state of fatitude?
No, a state of like where you're
shaming you.
I guess.
Kind of, you've kind of you've grown into that rut of like you're just going to eat the same thing.
Set in my ways, yeah. If I don't know what it is,
wait.
I'm not going to eat it.
You're bashing him for being in a rut.
I think he's
when
just
it comes
observing.
To food.
he's just observing. He's welcoming me into the fold of like I eat 3 things now. Let's see. It's affordable. There's a big variety. Get them. Flexible.
I've heard a lot of people say that compared to what you sometimes have to pay in the supermarkets, it actually is quite cheaper because since they work with the farmers, they get a better price and they deliver it straight to you, and then you don't have to go on because the supermarkets have to charge a little more for their overhead. So you can actually save money,
for
especially
people not buying papers and reading them for free.
Well, like someone like up in New York, they have to pay a premium on their produce and such. It's actually cheaper if you get it through Blue Apron.
Have you ever experienced a food orgasm? You showed me a picture at 3:00 in the morning. You texted me.
Oh,
a pizza.
Yes.
And you were like, and it sounded like you were. It was almost like you were talking to your girlfriend.
He called you?
No, he texted me out of the blue at 3:00 in the morning.
A pizza?
A pizza, and he was like,
it was a corn dog
yum.
pizza.
It just writes yum like almost
6 M's.
Like you almost like expect to see him outside your window.
And then Walt texts me back, goes, "Are you eating that right now?" I said,
I was like,
wish.
I go, how on earth could you be eating this right now at 3:00 in the morning? It was like this. I don't know what was on it.
It was a corn dog pizza. Corn dog pizza. It was
is that why you keep him in that corral back there while he's eating, just in case he blasts a load on somebody?
So I thought that possibly you've had the often talked about, not often experienced food orgasm.
I don't think I've gone to the full motions of a orgasm when it comes to food.
You haven't gone to completion.
I will say I've gotten very excited, about a food.
Have you ever seen anything edible that it like gave you a boner?
Well, I mean like your
You're just saying
your
ecstasy.
anus sweated.
Your anus?
Yeah. Because it's like it got a little bit moisture.
You saw the corn dog and his anus started fucking...
No, that's what happens. You have a physical... Your body reacts... All sort... Not just your groin is going to react during the food orgasm, but...
Your asshole starts puckering.
Not a sexual way. It's nothing to do with sex.
Well, then why the fuck are you saying orgasm?
It's just one of those buzzwords that the advertisers like.
Blue Apron's like, thank God. Target might buy us now.
Hashtag TSD, hashtag food orgasm.
But like your taste buds, water, all sorts of areas become a little bit sweatier. Your back, your back moistens.
Like as soon as it touches your lips and you taste it, you get a little shiver down your back.
Yeah, have you had the food orgasm?
Yeah, I've had that.
And then most likely when you were having a Blue Apron, right? Or was it a fucking a phallic corn dog?
It was some fucking like outdated fucking pork chop at whatever fucking shithole he shops in. He's like, I'll roll the dice. It's a third off.
It could be a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
It could be a fucking. It could be like like one of those fucking. What's those caramels? Those like.
Those little Kraft caramels. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah, a Tic Tac, and he's just like, boy, I can eat that, right? Oh yeah.
Should have asked before I put it in my mouth. I would say I have approached near that with some of the Blue Aprons.
Nice.
But it's a little different because you're cooking it yourself. So I think there's a little more.
So every once in a while you catch a look at yourself in just an apron.
And you're lying though if you say that you have talked about making a cheesecake more erotically than almost anything you've ever spoken about. Like how everyone loves it and how you
I have
you're more passionate about that.
I have vegetarian relatives who will break for my cheesecake.
Hear that?
They'll break for your cheesecake.
Yeah, they'll go non-vegan because Giddim's pie is so.
It's so alluring.
Cheesecake.
Yeah.
Well, you guys.
This is better than his corn dogs, I guess. So, but you're saying vegetarian, vegan. You're vegan, and they're like, your cheesecake is so good, I'm having a food orgasm.
No,
I'm not sure if you can.
They'll break their oaths.
My back is sweating. Oh, really?
Yeah.
They'll go.
They will. They usually don't eat dairy, and they will go.
They'll make
eat
it. The
dairy
only time of the year they'll do it is when you break out your pie, right?
My cheesecake, yeah.
Your hair pie. Once a year.
Uncle Gidim.
Yeah, Uncle Gidim special old timey hair pie. Cheesecake fondue. Like, so what is it exactly? Because there's a corn dog stuck in the middle. Who's coming over?
It's a fucking big silver pot of natty and corn dogs floating in it.
Like a cheesecake looks pretty good, I guess. It's just
bubbling to the surface
with a ladle. Like you're just like stirring it like an old witch.
Ladle. I just go bobbing for the
Texas chainsaw and shit.
Bobbing for corn dogs.
Okay, so check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
With free shipping by going to blueapron.com/TESD. You'll love how good. Hey, man. This goes back to what you're talking about. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Do you think you could sell Blue Apron your cheesecake recipe of beer and corn dogs? Is your cake good enough that like you could sell it to somebody in town? Like, would you say it's comparable, if not better, than Buddy's?
I never had Buddy's, so
Right.
Buddy, the cake boss, you mean?
Yeah.
I have had relatives tell me that yes, it's good enough to sell, and one of them.
Right, well, they're like, he's fucking retarded. Don't hurt his feelings.
But the one who's a vegan, he works at a food store and a bakery, and
So it wasn't Chris Ladondo?
No.
Could you get Ghost Pussy to break for
he's
for your
vegan?
cake? Yeah. Oh my
that.
God! It's good. Maybe because you don't go on Twitter because he says it every 3 fucking seconds.
Or how often he comes here for the Earth Treasures Pizza or whatever it is.
Is he always been vegan, or is this a new?
I don't know. Last
phase?
couple of years, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not even sure.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? He walks the walk, so
Lord knows he fucking talks the talk.
But you gotta respect him. That at least it's not all talk.
I want to see though. Maybe get him. Can tempt him? Why don't you bake one of your special pies?
I think I think there's only one person above Chris Lodondo. If I could get them to try my cheesecake and like it, I would be through the moon.
It's like a 9-year-old girl who lives next to her.
No, it's Walt.
Oh, Walt? Oh, yeah, Chris Lodondo versus Walt. Who's more likely to try your fucking cheesecake pie?
It's not even.
Like, is Walt sedated? No amount of money? No. Take one bite of cheesecake?
No.
Or anything that came out of Ginnam's kitchen?
Well, I mean, you can cut this if you want, but I mean, like, he fucking, not boasted, but he revealed, which I thought was like, well, how on earth is anybody going to want to eat it? Mm-hmm. Is that he had, like, the pots that you made the cheesecake with the previous year, he hadn't washed in between...
No,
baking
no.
So I gotta wash the pots that I made the cheesecake in last year, so I can make it this year.
No,
what the fuck?
No. What happened was I made it when I make my cheesecake. I use a bath. And you know what? It's
no, I know what a bath is.
No, it's a warm water.
It's what's holding your TV, right? We explored that earlier.
Guess I'm not watching TV tonight. I gotta make a fucking cheesecake for the family.
It's a warm water bath. You put a pan of hot water on the bottom of the oven, and that creates steam in the oven, and that stops the cheesecake from cracking. So,
okay.
And so I had that. I had one of those, and I made the cheesecake. Now you make it in a springform pan. I know
how to make a fucking cheesecake, son.
Well, what I did was I opened up the springform pan, and I took the outer ring off, and I didn't want to leave it on my counter because then my cats would have gotten into it, and so I put it back in the oven and closed it, and I forgot that it was in there.
So you don't use your oven that often, I guess.
No.
So it was in there for a year.
It was in there for over 6 months.
So you never cook at home?
I usually cook on the top.
On the hot plate?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I opened it up and I was like, oh.
And it became a thing? He was annoyed that he had to clean it up for the next year?
No, but I just thought it was strange that he would tell everybody that and then expect everybody to be like, let me try that.
It was a different. No, I threw that pan out because it was.
Also, anyone who want to sleep on my sheets I haven't washed for a year?
It's a Blue Apron.
Yeah, so that's Blue Apron. So Walt, you're talking about this phenomena that only you and Ginnam have experienced on a certain level. A third of people have not experienced. So I might be a part of that third.
I think that you've probably experienced it, but there are some people who experience it that it becomes debilitating. What did he say?
Debilitating.
Yeah. Did I say that right? I don't think so, but we'll just power through it. What are some of the things? What are the more uncommon uses of the word?
Well, do I have to use the word?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, some people not only experience the regular, but they experience.
No. Don't fucking just throw out the one where you've heard it.
Deja and Tandu.
Deja and Tandu,
you know
which
is
means? I don't.
All right, give me another one. But the one where you what's another one where you feel it?
Deja Veku.
What does that mean?
Lived.
So wait, so it's based on deja vu. So you have Deja and Tandu, which is. I'm sorry, what was that? Or did you not say
it before?
No, that's Deja Veku.
Deja Veku, you lived it before.
You've lived it before.
Deja.
And Tandu is you've already heard it.
You've heard it before.
You've heard it before.
What's the other Deja?
Deja Sentai, which is you smelled it, or Deja Lu, in which you read it already.
Okay.
And Deja Vu.
And
Deja Vu.
All the Dejas I want to cover.
Okay.
Have you had any of the Dejas?
Well, Deja Vu is what? The experience, which was kind of the same as living it, right? If I'm not mistaken, I get him fucking looking at his iPad like I didn't expect something to say that.
Well, have you ever experienced Deja Vu?
Sure,
question.
Of course.
How often and how vivid?
I wouldn't say it's an everyday occurrence. Maybe, I don't know, maybe once every 6 months, 8 months. Like
that often?
Maybe a year. But when it happens, there is a very strong feel, like almost like you know what's going to happen next sometimes. Let's see. Already seen. The phenomena of the strong sensation that an event or experience currently being experienced has already been experienced in the past. A feeling of familiarity, Deja vu, the feeling of having already lived through something, is a feeling of recollection. So I guess Deja vu is like, I remember having done this
previous
deja
life.
vu. Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. The pathological type of deja vu is usually associated with epilepsy.
Well, there's talking there.
You're talking psychological phenomena.
We're talking about it could be. They think it could be mini seizures.
Mm-hmm.
But Freud supposedly had traced the feeling.
Tell about Freud's theory.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Freud apparently traced the feeling to the mother's genitals. He said, "There is indeed no other place about which one can assert with such conviction that one has been there before."
Then your mother's genitals? I think I was there once on the way out. But never went back. I don't have any deja vu or deja entendu.
He possibly means other.
Freud's fucking. He was a cokehead.
Deja
man.
poon.
That's what I got, man. Deja poon. I've been here before. Yeah, Freud was a coke addict, right? So he was always saying weird shit.
I guess I'm not. This isn't my overkill.
Early researchers tried to establish a link between deja vu. Look, they were trying to discredit you, Walt. Mental disorders such as anxiety, dissociative identity disorder, and schizophrenia, but failed to find correlations of any diagnostic value.
Yes, they were just trying to get their names in the papers.
The strongest pathological association is with temporal lobe epilepsy.
Now, I'm here to tell you a reveal for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
Deja, what's the one again? The one that I have? Where I have a previous life.
Deja vu.
I have deja vu that I've never told anybody.
Previous life. Now, was it as exciting as this life?
Were there cats involved?
I worked in a shop.
Mm-hmm. So far, it sounds like your life.
Much like this, but it's not a comic book store.
Oh, really?
I am selling jewelry.
You're a
behind
jeweler.
A counter, and I have to wear a suit. I'm in one of those like heavy, like twill suits that are super uncomfortable.
Now and
very high, fashionable socks.
Real fashionable, huh? Stash socks. now,
available black and white.
Now, in this jewelry store, is Mike still your assistant? And is he wearing a pearl necklace that Ming gave him? So what year do you think this is?
I don't know what year it is, but I'm talking English.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced this. I've seen it. I felt it. I was in
Was
the
there
basement.
an accent? Like an English accent or just a...
There's no cars. I can look out the window and I don't see any cars, but I see coaches.
Like
so
horses
but cars may be around it, but they're just not.
Well, they sometimes weren't allowed in the cities because they would scare the horses. The cars.
That's probably why I don't.
So,
see
do you
a car.
think you're in a city, or it's basically Red Bank?
But there's electricity though.
Okay.
So, but there's no cars though.
So this is a dream, or this is
I was alive. I was awake when it happened.
So you were just sitting there, I
was downstairs getting something, and then I remember
a long box fell on your head.
And then
There's some low pipes down there.
What's it called? Deja what?
Deja vu.
Deja vu downstairs. I remembered being downstairs in my suit with my shoes and my high socks.
Fashionable socks, right?
And I was down in the basement looking through old jewelry to find for somebody who wanted something that wasn't new.
So
it was used jewelry that we deem not that either I don't know if I'm managing the store because I'm taking orders from a very old man.
Mm-hmm.
But
is he wearing a hockey jersey?
And he's fucking whacked out on the whatever drug is prevalent.
But
when the stash fields Kevin goes into the jewelry business.
But I was downstairs doing the same thing, and I remember, and I had that I remember doing this in another lifetime ago, and I remember being and then thinking about it and being seeing different things. It lasted only a few seconds though.
That's the only time it ever happened?
It's the only time it's ever happened. while I was awake.
Did it feel to you like it lasted a few seconds, or did it last a few seconds and it felt longer to you?
You mean the recollection? It felt longer than a second, but I was remembering things, and it brought back other things. I remember pulling out the box. It's not a cardboard box. There's no cardboard anywhere down in the basement. It's all in wooden boxes or woven baskets.
Woven baskets, okay.
And the jewelry is not high end, though. It's not like.
So you're selling trinkets and bullshit people don't need? Are you sure it's not this?
Kevin goes into the pawn shop business.
But it's a lot of broken, not very shiny stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're just selling it, and it's.
I mean, it's of a similar vein, which some people say, like, you know, you keep the same kind of job through past lives.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
So if you were in the, let's say you were working you're a policeman, maybe you're in law enforcement in another life.
In another life, or if you're like a football player or something in a previous life, you might have been like a gladiator.
So if you're cleaning up horse shit, your next life is not likely to be a SEAL?
It's not set in stone.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a whole bunch of shit. So Deja and Tandu already heard.
That means I've had that too.
Have you?
I've had that too. The very first time I ever heard the song My Stars, I said to myself, I've heard this before. I've heard this song before.
But isn't it possible that you have?
I don't see how it's possible.
I've experienced it when it comes to commercials and songs I've never heard before.
Go ahead.
Like, I'll guess the next line.
It's rapped. Go ahead.
No, this is like this because you told me you've experienced it. This is your experience.
Well, no, this is when it comes to Deja and
Tandu. You're a jingle, like jingles jar your memories.
Or like I'll be watching a movie and I've never seen the movie before, and I just know the next line. And I just say it, and that's
like
exactly
an
what comes
example
out.
of a movie.
I'm trying to think of
like Back to the Future. Like he's going to say Marty.
No, it's
Marty. Oh, I knew it.
I can't think
Get
of
away
a
from
song.
that goddamn springform pen, cats.
So your deja vu is centered around.
I'm trying to guess the line of a movie.
No, but it's like entertainment.
I'm just saying that's
it's
happened in that sense, but
memories.
I've also had regular deja vu. I usually
regular
get
deja vu too.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your regular deja vu?
Like sometimes I'll be sitting here and it's going to sound horrible, but like I'll be doing a transaction. I'll be like, oh shit, I've done this before. And I know Walt's going to get pissed at me real quick or real soon. So I have to try to remember do I keep doing what I do or go.
So this is real life. You're not a jeweler's assistant. He's like, go down to the basement, look for some fucking shit that we can sell. Really, like in the basement, when you think about it, that's where you keep all the garbage here.
Yeah.
That you would be like, it's not even worthy of the sales floor. Yeah. Or stuff that's not worthy of the sales floor.
There's a lot of stuff down there that's not worthy in the sales floor, alongside all our overstock that is worthy, but it's already up here already.
Or on eBay.
But I remember I could be pulling down off shelving units. I'm pulling down boxes, and it's like watch bands. It's like purple, like stones, like a lot of purple stones and stuff.
Amethyst.
But I treat it as it's meaningless, and it has no value though. And but I'm trying desperately to find something in the box to bring upstairs
to make the customer happy.
Yeah. like I said, I'm hot.
Well, there's no electricity, and
there is electricity.
Oh, sorry, but there's probably no. Since there's no cars, I doubt there would be cooling, like an air conditioning.
I don't know.
What about this? I feel like I've had this many times. Presque it looks like presque vu. Almost seen is the intense feeling of being on the very brink of a powerful epiphany, insight, or revelation without actually ever achieving the revelation. The feeling is often therefore associated with a frustrating, tantalizing sense of incompleteness, or near completeness.
I think everybody's felt that, right?
Is that like the feeling
right
like
on
when
the
you
brink,
have
like it's there.
Like the word right on the tip of your tongue, and I lost it.
So you're saying that your deja vu is does it cause anxiety?
It does, because it's like I don't want Walt to be angry at me, but I'm not sure if I have to. if I keep doing what I'm doing, it's going to make you not angry, or I have to do the exact opposite if that's going to make you not angry.
This is fucking in the middle of a day, in the middle of a transaction. He's like, fuck, is this going to piss Walt off? Oh, my God. Like, that's crazy, dude. That's not Deja anything.
But what is
No, it's like something.
What does it do? What are you doing in the transaction? You're talking about taking a $3.99 book and ringing
No,
up,
it's
right?
like this transaction. Like, no, this is the start of it. Something is going. What I do after this.
What do I do after I give you after I say thank you for coming out? I'm going to do something that's going to set me off.
Yes, that could possibly upset. And it's like, do I?
But you don't know what it is.
And I don't know what it is.
Meaningless then.
No, but it's because you're fighting the urge to just go with okay. Because like you said, like, okay, now I'm going to go behind the counter. But then it's like, wait. If I go behind the counter, he might get upset. So let me do the exact opposite. Like, because you're going through, like, the motions of, like...
So how do you decide what to do, then?
It's like a 50-50 shot.
So you just basically flip a coin and hope you don't get yelled at?
Yeah.
Right.
Or it's you know... Or,
do you think that we're tied through the time stream?
There could be a...
Have you always been his ass boy?
Do you think that, like, somehow we come together no matter what the instance is or what period of time it is?
Like Hawk Girl and Hawkman?
Yeah, but we're not lovers, though, fool.
No, definitely not.
No. Of course we're not. I don't know why I said that. That's one of those 50-50 things I shouldn't have said.
I sure went with heads.
Do you think, though, that, like you know, we could trace, like, even in Roman times, while we got our togas on, we're still...
Like Kwigleeuh.
Tell him, Steve Dave.
It's Zune, bitch.
Well, it wasn't worthy of being Zune this week.
I don't know.
What the fuck, Zune?
Whatever.
When I was young, I never wanted to be back. Fighting up my fight like a buffalo. Man, thinking of my house in the middle of the night. Creeping down the streets, just looking for a peace pie. Fighting up my mind on a psychedelic trip. Shooting out my arms, looking for another 48. Racking up the pills at the best of credit. Goddamn, and sex and drugs, I never thought I would get caught. Now I know, and what I've been for. Now I know, and what I've been for. Blast away my night in the cemetery. Night two and triple doubles, couldn't care. Have your lights a flashing guns and smoking blast away my 19 and know the morning that I took my first life. Now I know, and what I've been for. Now I know, and what I've been for. These are my drugs, I swear to you. These are my guns and you can't. I don't have a problem, I don't give a damn. Say you don't have a witness, I won't play a game.
Speaking of Zune, real quick, did you know the Zune was in Guardians of the Galaxy in a big way?
It was.
Another example of TSD makes the world takes.
Right. Somebody's like, I know. Along with all this old music. Cassettes.
They're like, we couldn't work funerals in, but we can work Zoom in.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.